Welcome everybody back to the channel, and first off I want to say I'm sorry for taking so long to get a video out. I was hoping to have one much sooner, but the new season introduced a lot and I'm trying to get my content situated and sorted out and make sure to test things and see what's changed and yada yada yada. Also, my old Blue Yeti microphone broke, so I ended up having to get a new one, which is an XLR mic, which is the Audio Technica 2020 if you're curious. Now, you know the drill by now. A new update in Warzone means pretty much anything goes, and anything can change without being stated in the patch notes, or they're wrong or something. But for this particular video, we're going to look at the Cold War shotguns in Warzone, which are the Howler, the Gallo, and the Street Sweeper. Now this update did manage to fix a few things, screwed up a few things, and well, it also left things unchanged. But we have some cool new features that are a welcome addition, and I'm going to show you some of the things that are misleading and some of the new attachment changes that we have with the guns that I mentioned. So without babbling too much, let's just go ahead and jump in and check out some of the changes that were made. First off, you'll probably notice a lot of the attachments now have updated pros and cons, but a quick glance will show that the actual description of the attachments are still unchanged. The V-choke increases spread, but the description still states that it gives greater spread, for example, but no biggie, I'm willing to overlook that. Now, as you can see, things like the SOCOM blast mitigator now have different effects, and it actually states that it gives you a wider pellet spread. If you remember before, it did do this just like the duckbill choke, but it didn't really state anything about it or do anything else really. The problem with this though is, well, check out this little clip. I mean, I have the SOCOM blast mitigator equipped. The reticle is still the normal circle one for shotguns, but when you actually shoot, it is actually widened and it goes outside of the circle. Okay, I mean it works, but just know if you use it, it may not go where you're aiming sometimes. Now speaking of the reticle, another detail you may have missed is now the Cold War shotguns have a circle reticle, whereas before they had that straight small line or straight small lines that were similar to how slugs are in this game. Overall, I like the circle better and much more than the other one. The agency choke now gives us a slightly faster sprint out time according to the in-game stats, but based off of what I tested, it seems like it actually hurts sprint out time slightly by like 1 or 2 frames or so. Here I slowed it down so we could see, and on the left, the Howler with no attachments can shoot slightly faster after sprinting than you can with the agency choke on. I was disappointed to see this honestly, because that would have given some incentive to use this attachment more. It doesn't do anything to spread, and it hurts range by about 20% for each shotgun, so I don't recommend this attachment still, and hopefully they can get it working as intended. Next up for the barrels, the big one you're probably wondering about is the Task Force barrel, and does it do any more damage or anything like that? Well, no, it doesn't do any more damage, but it has been set to increase effective damage range and bullet velocity?
What?
Why? Why do we need this on a shotgun? It's an important stat for other guns, I get that, but a shotgun has a super fast bullet velocity already, and I'm not going past like, what, 30 meters with the thing at the very most? So why do we need this? What is going on? Am I crazy? Why is this a thing? Anyway, you'll notice it says effective damage range, which there are also attachments that just say damage range, but there is no difference. Usually effective range is the range you'll get hit markers for a shotgun, but it increases max damage range too. Now, for the Task Force barrel, it does give us more range, but it gives us a 21% increase, which is smaller than the Ranger barrel's 29% increase. On top of that, we do actually lose hipfire accuracy, and movement speed is in fact slightly slower. Notice here it also says movement speed and not sprint speed, but it does decrease both walking and sprinting speed. So the Task Force barrel is a no-go. It's not worth running over any barrels really, unless you want to make a super wide hipfire build with some other attachments, I guess. Oh man, the more I get into this stuff, the more I realize this update is just all over the place. I mean, I think they bit off more than they can chew at the studio, as much as it pains for me to say. Okay, so barrel ranges are all pretty much the same as last time, and I'll flash them up on screen here, and they seem to be consistent across the shotguns from what I've tested. The Ranger barrel is the best for range, and the fire rate barrels do help each gun in their own way, with the Howler being the least noticeable with it compared to the other two. Now, the Cavalry Lancer barrel, the one in Cold War that does more vehicle damage, got updated, and it says that it increases effective damage range, but yet again, no, it does not. For example, the Howler has a max damage range of about 3.4 meters at the time of this video, and the Cavalry Lancer takes it up to 3.4. So there's really no change, but hey, at least they get that vehicle damage is just kind of useless for a shotgun in Warzone in most cases. Also, the reinforced heavy barrel that gives us more range and fire rate does in fact give you more range now, because before it was just really giving you a faster fire rate, but now it works as intended with about a 12% increase in range. Nice. Probably my favorite barrel besides the Ranger barrel, honestly. It makes all the shotguns that have it absolute machines. Checking out the lasers, we have some cool additions like how the mounted flashlight and the Tiger Team spotlight give us a quicker movement speed. The flashlight is visible to enemies though, so be mindful of that. And no, it doesn't work like the Black Ops 4 strobe light, though it can be a bit disorienting if it's in your face, I guess. The two other cool attachments are the SOF target designator and the Ember sighting point, both which actually give you more range, and yeah, I can confirm they actually do. The target designator gives you about 6% more range, which isn't that much, and the Ember sighting point gives you 12% more range. This is cool because they stack with the barrels, so now you can really get your max range going with the Ranger barrel and the Ember sighting point, which takes range up by 41%. That's basically equivalent to the 680 with the biggest barrel and the Marauder suppressor equipped. Now, for the problems that the lasers have, the 5mW laser and the steady aim laser say that they are visible to enemies. In reality, no they're not, which might actually be a good thing. The 5mW laser has no real penalty to it, so it's always useful. The only one that does show is the Ember sighting point, which you can see the flashlight in the laser, but the laser beam isn't visible, it's only the dot of where it's aiming. Still though, it's very distracting and it can give you away if you're not careful. The Ember sighting point also hurts sprint out time by about 1 frame or so. It's not terrible given the perks it has. Honestly, it's a good attachment so long as you mind where you point that thing. For stocks, nothing's really changed here, but if you're curious how much sprint out time you can get with the stocks, here is the quick rundown of the sprint out times on screen. No stock is the best for it, followed by the marathon stock. One of the biggest letdowns of this update though is that the rear grips still don't do anything. There really is no attachment to help us get a faster aim down sight speed. Now really, they're kind of a wasted slot, the rear grips, so don't bother equipping one on your shotgun. They just don't do much or anything at all, and some still actually hurt you in some way. Then we have the 9-round mag, which says it lowers aim down sight speed, but it seems like it's a pretty negligible difference, and really the difference is so tiny, it's always worth running the 9-round mag. It doesn't have any secret effects like hurting movement speed or anything like that, by the way. Is that it? Okay, I think that about covers everything that's changed. And my God, there was just so much to look at and so many things that were just kind of all over the place, even for shotguns. Now, overall, it was an okay update. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad, it was just kind of in between. Now, I really appreciate the addition of the laser pros and cons, and I'm glad that they're actually changing some things up. Sadly, there is just so much to be done though at this point. I'm going to make a list for all you guys and for the devs out there so you all can see the issues that need to be addressed for shotgun attachments. This isn't an attack or anything like that. It's not an attack on devs or anything like that. I hope that's pretty obvious and that goes without saying, but I want to give some more constructive feedback and make things more concise for reviewing. Now, hopefully some of these issues can be addressed, and I'll be patiently waiting for any news or updates on the matters. And that is pretty much going to do it for this video. Now again, sorry it took so long to come out, but there was a lot to be done and a lot to be seen. I plan on going over the Cold War guns with these attachment updates and seeing which builds work best now, and get some other videos coming your way. Now let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the update? If you're new here, be sure to subscribe because this really helps the channel grow, and we want to give shotguns the love that they deserve in first-person shooter games. And with all that being said and out of the way, I want to wish you all a happy day/night, and I'll see you in the next video.